Hello YouTube, it's Jack here. Today I'm going to be doing a video lesson on my arrangement of O Holy Night since the festive season is upon us. So first I'm going to play through it and then we'll bring the cameras in and analyse what I'm doing. So here we go. If you want to get the tab for this arrangement, it's available on my website to purchase, and I'd appreciate the support. It might be good, might help you out to sort of follow along with that for this video lesson. So first thing we got to do is put the guitar into drop D tuning, so just drop that low E string to D and we'll be all good. What we're going to do is start here with your second finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D string. The strumming here, or the picking here, is thumb, thumb, so you're going 6th string, 5th string with the thumb, index takes the 4th string, and then your ring finger takes the 2nd, middle takes the 3rd, index, 4th. And then we're going to do that a few times around. 4 times around for that. On the last time, a little bit of a rowl, so you slow down slightly. And then we do a little strum with the thumb, the first 3 strings. Then carry on that motif. Then you bring the first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string for the melody note. And then we carry on with the picking of that chord. So that's the pattern we're going to be doing. Then we move into this G shape, the little fingers grabbing the bass note. Makes it kind of tricky, but it's doable. So the first finger's on the 2nd fret of the G string, and then we're hammering on the 3rd finger onto the 4th fret. And we're playing the open D as well. And then immediately we're using our first finger to grab the 2nd fret of the A string. And then you're doing like this 6th kind of thing where you're using your index and your ring finger on your picking hand to play those two notes. So you're playing the A string and the A and the G, and your first finger's taking this B note, and then you're doing to the D and the B, both open. So that goes, and then you slide into this last one, which is the same position that we had at the start with the same fingering. Ooh. And then you play the open D. Back into that theme that we've established at the start. Melody note on the first finger again. Hit the open D, and then that note again, and then you're sliding in with the third finger into the 4th fret of the D string, and then you're sliding down with the first finger. So you're doing these little sort of grace note type things. So let's take that again. And you're pulling off at the end. And then you're adding the bass note. So you're playing the melody again, but the second time. Then you're playing it again, hammer on the 4th fret, open G, A power chord, and then you come off to the flat 7 or the open G, then you play the 4th fret of the A string, and then we're back into the intro. You only play it twice that time. Then we're doing the same again. Into the G, the 6th, and then this time we're doing a little bluesy sort of phrase. So that's just a slide up with the 3rd finger, grabbing it with the little finger up to the 7th fret, sliding up to the 7th fret. Grabbing it with the little finger, 7th fret as well, down to the 5th fret. These are on the D and B strings, by the way. Then you're hitting the 4th and the 3rd again with your 3rd and 2nd fingers, and then we're going down to a D power chord. Bit of the melody, a little hammer on and pull off, and then you're stretching with your 3rd finger to grab the 4th fret of the D string, but then you come off your 3rd finger because you want to replace it on the 4th fret of the A string, which brings us into this F sharp minor shape, which is rootless basically. That's what we're going to be doing. Then you want to bring your 1st finger up, so it was barring previously, but now you want to lift up that bar because you want to allow for the B string to be played open. And then we're going into a D flat 7 shape. And then immediately slide your 1st finger up so it becomes a 7 flat 9. And then back, and then we're actually into F sharp minor, but with the root this time. And then just do that picking pattern to finish that section. Now the next bit we're going into, so we're starting by playing that melody note, and then we're adding the chord, which is like this A7 type thing. So I've got my little finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and then I've got my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. And then we're playing the open B, come down to the 5th, the 2nd fret of the D string, which is the 5th of A. Oh, so there's the other thing there, so it's another bass note just before. So that again is. So we'll come from. Down at the A, and then we're going into this sort of kind of gospel-y fourth thing. So I'm barring at the D and the G string on the 2nd fret, then hammering on with the 3rd and 4th, and then I leave my 3rd finger on the 4th fret, but then I take my little finger off and play that melody note. So now it's my 1st finger on the 2nd fret. So now the shape it's kind of like that D shape again, the 3rd position of the cage system. And then we play this note again, but then we're immediately hammering on. And this is kind of like a triplet thing, so it's so that's kind of like a triplet feel there. And I'm hammering on with my little finger there. And then immediately back into that A7 thing. Same pattern again. Then the 4ths. No triplet thing this time, you're just sort of doing a basic arpeggio. Bring up the dynamics a bit here, because now we're going into this B minor chord. I think for me this part of the song is quite a sort of dramatic shift. So you want to bring the dynamics up. So that's what we're doing. The melody note is there. Now I want to come off the chord completely and bring my 1st finger to support the 2nd, because we're going to be hammering off to the 1st. And then the 3rd finger is sliding up, so the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the G string is sliding up to the 6th. Which brings us into this F sharp minor chord, which is you're barring at the 4th, and then you've got your little finger on the 7th fret of the D, and then your 3rd finger on the 6th fret of the G string. Then for the next time round that arpeggio, I'm playing the 4th fret of the D and then hammering on with my little finger, and then doing that picking pattern. Then we're playing that melody note, which is the high E, and then we're going down to an E minor. So it's note is the open B, and then what I do is I back that melody up for the last time with a sort of little sort of arpeggiated thing, so that I'll play that through. That just gives it a bit more movement, I think, makes it a bit more interesting. Then we're going into the B minor shape. And then right at the end of that bar, we're moving the B minor up to here. So for that, I'm 3rd finger is on the 9th fret of the E string, and then little finger is underneath on the 9th fret of the A string. 1st finger is on the 7th fret of the G. So and then we're going into this D triad over A, and then into A7. From there we're going into D over F sharp, and then if you can see what's going on. And then into this G, but it's important to use your third finger for the bass note, not your little finger, because you need your little finger for the melody note, which is grabbing the 6th fret on the G, and then open B string. Creates this nice sort of sustained open string thing. And then we're down into D over A. So that's just first finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then we go up to this weird sort of A7 type thing, which is 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the E string and 1st finger on the, it's a bit of a stretch, 1st finger on the 4th fret of the A. And then you're playing the E, A and the G string. And then your little finger is taking the 7th fret of the D string. So it's going. And then you're playing the open B and then back to the 7th fret of the D. And then sliding that down. So hang on, let's back up a little bit. So from the D over A, that's how that phrase goes rhythmically. As soon as you've hit that with your little finger sliding all the way down to the 2nd fret, hit the open D, and then it slides up to the 4th, and then you're back into this D position. So that again is. Then you hit that 1st finger and slide up to the 7th fret, and then you're hitting the open A and the open E at the same time, and then hitting an A chord, which is just the 7th fret on the D and the 6th fret on the G string. And then you're going down to this sort of A7 over G. So that again, so let's go from this part. So that's the A7 over G. Then we're back into D over F sharp, except you're hitting that high F sharp note this time, so you want to bar it at the 2nd fret. And then we're going into a sort of G major 7. So I'm using my little finger, and then the 1st and 2nd are grabbing the 2nd and 3rd frets on the E and B. Pull off open E, then hit that the D note again, the 3rd fret on the B. And then you're into D over A again, but except it's this D position, but you've got the open A, the A bass note. So that again is going pull off on the E string, 3rd fret B, and then play the melody note again. Back it up with some harmony, which is D over A, and then we're going into this A7, which is for the little finger on the 5th fret, and then you're barring at the 2nd fret. And I just use my 2nd finger for all of that. Slide up, slide all the way down, don't have to pick it. And then we go into the outro, which is similar to the intro but slightly different, so it's same position, but the picking changes for the 2nd time, where you hit that high note, and then the last time you use your 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and then we play a nice big D chord to end, which is just normal D, but you've got your little finger there as well. So that again, so going back to the G major 7 chord. Bit of a rowl going on here, and then we've got the outro. Good luck.